Hey guys, Cassie here. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking all about the romance tropes you can hope to find when you read my book, Broken Together. So let's get into it. All of these tropes are things I found on the NaNoWriMo forums on a thread about what romance tropes people want to see more of in fiction. So I went through the list, I found all the ones that I've represented in my book, so I can tell you guys, if you want to see more of this, here it is, right here. You should read it. Number one is a slow burn. That is one of my favorite kinds of romance. I like to see the couple get to know each other a bit and have some flirty moments, and maybe one of my favorite things is when the characters don't really seem to realize that they like each other, and you, the reader, are like, oh my gosh, you so like that person. Figure that out now, please, so you can be together and it'll be adorable. But I really like to see that part drawn out a bit, to get lots of time for that angsty anticipation feeling, because once the couple actually gets together, then that anticipation kind of goes away and it's a little less interesting. So I like to drag that out as long as I possibly can. Second on the list is friends to lovers romance. That is another one of my favorites. I like enemies to lovers too sometimes, but I feel like it's kind of touch and go with that one for me. Sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't, but friends to lovers is almost always just so lovely to me, and that is definitely this story. The couple definitely gets to know each other for quite a while. Like I said, there is that slow burn of them getting really intimately close as friends first, before they really realize and admit their feelings for each other. Third on the list is a little bit of fake dating if you squint. So I really love the fake dating trope, and there are some books that are just entirely dedicated to this trope. A good example of that would be The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. That is definitely all about the couple having to pretend to date throughout the whole book. That's not what my book is at all, but there is at least a chapter or two where they kind of have to pretend to be in a couple, and it's cute and fun. If I can find a way to squeeze fake dating into a book, I probably will, because I just love it. There's that sexual tension because they either they like each other and they know they like each other, or they don't know it yet, and sometimes the fake dating is what makes them realize, oh, I kind of like pretending to be with this person. Maybe I would like actually being with this person. And it's just cute to see those feelings coming across in subtle ways, and the characters questioning, did they say that because they were pretending to be my girlfriend, or because they actually felt that way? And yeah, I just love it. I love fake dating, so it's in there a little bit. Next on the list is a tragic past. Now, in my book, Broken Together, both the main character and the love interest have tragic pasts. And I will also add to this another trope, which is also on my list of tropes people want to see more of, and that is shared trauma. So sometimes shared trauma means the two characters have something traumatic happen to both of them at the same time, and they're both involved, and that's kind of how they get bond with each other. My book doesn't have that, but it has shared trauma in the sense that they have both gone through traumatic events that have some very big similarities, and therefore they bond over that and understand each other, and they both finally feel like someone sees them for what they've been through, because they've been through it themselves and they understand what that feels like. And yeah, I love that. That's, again, also one of my favorite romance tropes, is a tragic past and shared trauma and bonding over those really deep, intimate, soul kind of conversations. Next up is a meet cute. My book has, I would say, kind of two of those. which technically is impossible because you can only meet someone once. I mean, unless we're talking about like time travel romance or something like that. But in a regular contemporary romance with no magical elements, you can really only meet someone once. But I kind of think 2 different scenes in my book sort of count as meet cutes. So yeah, you've got 2 of those to look forward to, which is just the best, if I do say so myself. Next up is non-romantic bed sharing. This is another one of those tropes that I will always find a way to put into my books. I mean, I might not always put them in if it doesn't make sense, but I will always try to see if I can possibly put in bed sharing, because I just think it's so much fun. There's so much sexual tension and it's just a blast to read, and you just like want to know if anything's gonna happen, and then it usually doesn't, but it's still exciting because there's romantic tension and angst, and it's just the best. So yes, I have actually several different scenes of bed sharing, or at least 2 different occurrences of bed sharing in my book, non-romantic bed sharing, and they're both pretty cute, if I do say so myself. Next up is redemption. That is basically what my entire book is about, is Jacob finding redemption for his kind of checkered past, choosing to be a better person, moving on from that, not in the sense moving on in the sense of like pushing it aside, but actually confronting those things and dealing with them to the best of his ability, and learning how to forgive himself and just live a new life. And that was like the whole reason I wanted to write this book in the first place, was the concept of redemption is very important to me. Next on the list is road trips, which I will say the road trip in my story is only like a chapter, but I do think it's pretty cute still. But it's not like the whole book is a road trip. It's not like Paper Towns or something. If you want to read a good road trip novel, read Paper Towns. But my book does have a little mini road trip, and it's fun. I like road trip hijinks. There's something like nostalgic and fun about it, because of, I guess, road trips I took as a kid growing up. So yeah, it feels homey and special. And there's a lot of opportunity for conversation because you're stuck in a car with someone for a long amount of time. The next trope people wanted to see more of is male virgins. I've got you covered. Jacob is a virgin. He's very sexually and romantically inexperienced. And that's a trope that I really enjoy seeing as well. I don't know why. I think it's because it's kind of subverted, because it's so stereotypical historically for like men to be the more experienced ones and women to be like virgins, because that's like appealing to men for like women to be virgins. But it's fun to see that flipped on its head and have it be the opposite, where the woman's the one who's more experienced and the male is the virgin, which is what my book portrays. So if that interests you, I got it. Next up is holiday/vacation romance. I will say once again, my book is not a holiday romance. There are some books that are really heavily centered around like Christmas or something. That's not what my book is, but the last like 5 or 6 chapters or somewhere along there, maybe like 4 or 5 chapters. The last few chapters are centered around Christmas time and a little mini vacation that some of the characters go on together. So that's all I'll say about that, because it is the end of the book. I don't want to spoil too much for you. Next up is reserved guy and sassy girl. That is a trope I love as well, which is why it's in my book, faux show. I just freaking love reserved guys. I think they're adorable. It's fun to be the fun, like, boisterous one in a relationship. I'm not very super boisterous in real life. I am funny and like silly, but in past relationships I've been in, it's hard for me to be in a relationship with someone who's like a lot more outgoing and fun and like funny than I am, because then I just feel really lame. So I don't know. I've always preferred men who are kind of more reserved because I like to be the fun one. Just saying. Maybe that's bad, but it is what it is. So I really like to see reserved guys with like sassy, funny women. That's probably my favorite type of relationship to see. Which, by the way, if you want to read like just a really good book, I know I'm supposed to be trying to sell you on my book, which you should read my book too, but also you should read Well Met by Jen DeLuca, because holy crap, that book is adorable and just the epitome of a reserved guy and a sassy girl, and I loved it. So anyway, moving on. Someone said they wanted to see more age gap relationships. I will tell you, I am currently writing a much more significant age gap relationship, but in my book Broken Together, there is a slight age gap. The female character is 26, I think, and the male character is 34, if I remember correctly. It's been a little while since I read it. But yeah, 26 and 34, so it's a bit of a gap, and it's not like super significant in the story, but it is mentioned, and kind of like, she's sassy, so she makes some jokes about him being old, and it's cute and funny, and I like it. So the next trope on the list is, oh no, my clothes are in the other room where the love interest is, and I don't have anything but a towel in here. Whatever shall I do? Yeah, I like that crap. I'm not gonna lie, I unashamedly love when people like accidentally walk in on each other, or like you have to go out there in a towel because, oh, I left my clothes in the other room, and oh, he's gonna see me in a towel, and then it's like blushing moment and all the angst and sexual tension, and it's just my jam. There may or may not be a scene like that in my book. Who knows? You don't. You'll have to read it to find out. Next up is confession of love in an established relationship. That's literally all I'm gonna say about this one, because
spoilers.
And the last trope on the list that people wanted to see more of is lots of teasing and snarky flirtation. And I can tell you, Jenna definitely delivers for you on that one, for sure. She's very snarky, very sarcastic, very flirty, and she kind of brings out Jacob's sassy side as well, which I really like to see, because in my head, like, Jacob is such a character that's so close to my heart, and I feel like he's the kind of person that, like, if he's with certain people, he probably wouldn't really be that way. He'd just be more serious and reserved. But when he's with Jenna, she brings out that like silly, sassy side of him, and that just makes me so happy to see. It's like he's my child, and he found someone who like balances him out so well, and I'm like, oh, you did it, you found a good one. But it's like, I made her and gave her to you, so I don't know why I'm surprised that he found her, because I forced them together. But anyway, crazy writer thoughts is all I'm saying now. So let's wrap this up. All right, so that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed hearing about all the romance tropes in my book. Tomorrow is Friday, and tomorrow we're gonna be talking about how to support authors, because I have a lot of thoughts on various ways that you can support authors you love. I always, like, people want to know how to best support you. If your friends and family know that you're a writer, they want to know what they can do to support you, but sometimes it's kind of awkward to say some of those things, especially the more business side of things. So I thought it would be fun to just make a whole video about it and lay it all out there so that you can share that with your friends and family. If they're like, how should I like get your book? And you know, share that with them. And that way they know the ways that they can help you out and you don't have to necessarily say it all. So anyway, that's tomorrow. And then the day after that, this here beautiful book will be for sale. That's crazy. This book has taken me several years to completely finish, and I am just so happy and so excited for you all to get to read it. I just can't wait for you to read it. It really is like such a big part of the story for me. For those of you who read my other book, Keep No Record, this is just like, this book is, they go together. They are one story to me in my head. When I started writing Keep No Record, I already had so many ideas that I knew I wasn't gonna get to until Broken Together. And I've gotten to them, and I can't wait for you guys to read them, because I feel like when this came out, it was like exciting, but at the same time, it was like the story's not over yet, and there's so much more to be said. And now it's all been said, and it's here, and you get to read it in 2 freaking days. That is exciting. I will leave you with that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the last video of this week's epic celebration for my book release. So thank you all for being here, and I'll see you next time.